In this video, we'll be starting our logo design process. We'll look at the brief that we have and try to understand the brand, their target audience, understand a bit about what they're trying to achieve, and take that in for our research, concept development, and sketching process. So here we have our brief. We have the company name right, the industry, content writing agency, the target audience, small businesses, entrepreneurs, and marketing agencies. We have a brief description about the brand. Wright specializes in crafting compelling copy, blog posts, and website content for businesses looking to boost their online presence. They want a logo that conveys creativity, professionalism, and the power of words. The design should feel friendly but polished, incorporating elements that hint at writing, like quills, typewriters, or open books, without being cliche. Okay. The client is open to exploring earthy tones, muted palettes, or rich colors that communicate warmth and trustworthiness. The logo should be flexible enough for social media, print, and digital applications. Awesome. So, keywords: creativity, professionalism, words, warmth, and trust. So we have our ideation keywords picked from here. We have friendly but polished. Where do we have that again? Here, friendly but polished. Let's make that bold. Now, their target audience. They're targeting small businesses and entrepreneurs with the aim of boosting their online presence and business in the process. They're targeting marketing agencies with the aim of collaborating with them to craft great stories that help them achieve goals for their clients. So, the first thing we need to do is think through the brand and what they're about. So, it's a content writing company, and they work with small businesses, entrepreneurs, and marketing agencies. So with small businesses, a a fashion store, a shoemaking company, entrepreneurs could also be one of those. And marketing agencies would be an agency that maybe does digital marketing, does advertising. So they will need copies written for them for those ads, copy for social media marketing as well. So those are the people they're trying to reach. Now, they want a logo that's friendly but is polished. So we have an idea there. And the keywords we have are creativity, professionalism, words, warmth, trust. So when we get to the sketching phase, we would think through this and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. But the first thing we need to do is do some research. So find some of their competitors and what they're doing. We'll look at their websites. We'll look at a few of their social media posts. We'll look at what they're posting, how they're communicating, how they're using their colors, and a bit of all of that. Here we have some colors selected for the brand. Let's go into colors and look at what that looks like. Let's start our generator. And since we have our color codes, we don't have to use the space to play around to find colors. We have three colors, so we can take these off. Let's go in here and copy our codes. Let's copy this. Let's go into our palette. Let's paste this. Okay. So we have a blue that communicates trustworthiness and just trust essentially. You find that with branding for hospitals and just companies in tech, companies that essentially are geared towards, oh, like trust us, will handle your business. Imagine you go to an hospital and their branding is, so their branding could be red, but like the walls are red, everywhere is red, or everywhere is black. They're using black, which can signify death. It would be out of place. So colors are important. You remember we talked about that. Let's get our second color and bring that in. Okay, we have a bright color that can be used. Okay, all right. So this can also give us a bit of an idea of what we're working with. So this color, saffron, colors gives us very interesting names. Um, would be the energy bringing creativity color that we're adding to the brand. We have this one that is soft and saying you're welcome, and we have this we're creative and we have some energy here. So we know what we're working with. Let's go back and try to find some content writing agencies that we can work with. So I'll do that quickly. I'll pick out a few, pick out some information about them, and we'll come back to review them together. So here are a few brands. I picked out three, picked out some information about them that we can look at together. The first brand is Content Writers. We have Skyward and we have Express Writers. So in this section, I'm going to be showing you what we're looking out for and essentially what we're trying to do with all this information. So here are a few things that we've picked out. We've picked out their logo and colors. So we can see how they use their color, how they use their logo. We can see their use of imagery. So this is how they use images. We can see their brand colors as well. We can see their tone of voice, and we have a summary about them here. So quickly, when we look at their use of colors and logo, we can see a few notes to pick out. There is consistency. So this is their Instagram accounts. You can see here that there is some consistency here, and with the use of that, people can easily recognize them. So if you've seen a lot of these posts, when you see something new, you sort of already know that this is content writers, um, which is good. The use of imagery, they don't have, so they have illustrations. They use illustrations a lot. You can see that over here. You can see the images that they use. I wouldn't say these are so pleasing. We can see colors. We can see their colors. So content writers focuses on accessibility and simplicity, aiming for a relatable, casual tone. Aiming for a relatable, casual tone to attract small businesses and entrepreneurs. So similar target audience. They focus on providing educative content on their social media and blog as a means for SEO, but also as a way to show their clients that they know their stuff. So they post a lot of how to do this. This is so tips on content writing, how to write this, how to write that. They post a lot of that on both their social media and their blog, and that's something to note. They use their colors a lot on their social media pages, and that creates consistency and aids brand recognition. They also target copywriters a lot. So that's something that they do. They create content for copywriters. So people who are copywriters, they ask them to like join them or register somewhat. Let's look at the other brand. We have Skyward. And quickly, you can see a bit of difference in how they position themselves. So you can see Skyward with their showing their people, showing their activities, and championing like causes. You can see them again with their social media showing their people. You can see their brand colors here. This is their logo. Their tone of voice is more sophisticated and corporate, targeting larger clients with a tone that emphasizes professionalism and expertise. So we're picking a bit from content writers, but then also from Skyward. So we have those two to sort of look around, observe, and work with. So Skyward is a content marketing agency focused on helping brands get leads through storytelling. They are team and people focused, and a lot of their digital expression is focused on showing their culture and how they create a great space for people who work with them. So we can see that here with their images. Again, you can see that here. They do a lot of outreaches with their team. They show their activities together and all of that, which creates some warmth. For people who go to their page, you can quickly see that sense of belonging and just welcoming sense from their branding. And now we have Express Writers. You can see their use of their logo. See that here. They also use a lot of imagery. So you can see their contents. This can be better spaced. You can see their contents. You can see their contents, their social media posts. You can see their colors. This is very similar to what we have for rights. So there's that feeling of trustworthiness, sort of. We also look at their tone of voice. Express Writers strikes a balance between professionalism and approachability. So I think they're more of a similar brand to Right, using a goal oriented, efficient tone to cater to businesses that need quick, effective solutions. Express writers position similarly to content writers. They publish a lot of educational content showing clients that they know their work. They also publish a lot of memes to add some humor to their brand personality. The brand colors are used as much as possible to achieve consistency. So, what are we trying to do in this process? We're trying to understand their competitors, get the sense of their tone and the way they position themselves. So, professional, playful, creative, all of that. There's not so much creativity within these brands, but that's something that we have to work with. And then we also observe their logos, right? What is distinct about their logos? Which ones do we like? Which ones do we not like? And you can see here, none of them actually uses anything that has to do with writing, using a quill, using a pen, none of that. They focus on their speed, express writers. So you can see a paper plane icon. You can see skyward. Think again, they're people focused. So you can see these lines illustrating people. And you can see content writers, they just use the calligraphy type fonts to create their logo. So let's pick out some deductions from this, from observing those three brands. And in some cases, you might observe even more, right? So going through their websites, going through their social media, and just trying to understand, get the concept around how they position themselves, how they use their colors, how they what their logos look like, and just all of that. So we have some deductions here. So one common factor with Wright's competitors is their use of blog content to provide tips and educational content on their websites and or social media platform. They focus on being thought leaders within the industry. And while this is an important part of what content writing agency needs to do, they do this in a way that removes personality from their brand. There's a lot of five tips for doing this, five tips for doing that, five tips for, and this is more with content writers and express writers. So Skyward is a little bit more like our people, and that adds some personality to their brand. Competitors lean towards more corporate, clean, and somewhat formal branding. This approach often conveys professionalism, but can lack a sense of warmth and personal connection. By focusing on warm, earthy tones or muted palettes, Wright can visually communicate trust, reliability, and creativity, striking a balance between professionalism and approachability. So competitors like content writers and express writers use generic design elements and lack distinct creativity in their logos. A more imaginative approach could immediately signal to clients that Wright delivers innovative and engaging content. Wright should emphasize partnership and collaboration with businesses, ensuring that small businesses and entrepreneurs feel like they have a trusted partner who can understand their needs through both logo and messaging. Wright should convey that it's accessible, flexible, and personally invested in its client's success. So now, when designing a logo, some people have there are different ideas that we can work with, and briefly we would go into Pinterest. Remember, we looked at Pinterest and a few ideas, and just look at the different styles that we can work with. Some people assume that a logo has to say everything about the brand. So for example, if your brand is focusing on collaboration and also is professional and also is focusing on say people who are marginalized, and also is, we can't put all of that into your logo. Remember that a logo is a symbol that identifies you. So, for example, if you've seen all those gladiator movies where they have like marks to seal to show that, oh, this is one of us. Essentially, that's what a logo is. It's a seal. It's something that says this is me, right? And I'm a part of this brand, for example, or I'm a part of this industry, or I'm a part of this idea or concept or whatever the case is, but it's an identifier, right? So that when people see a Pepsi logo, they know that, okay, cool, this is Pepsi. It's an identifier. When people see MTN's logo, they know this is MTN. It's an identifier. So a logo needs to show what you do, but not excessively that you now have to put all the elements in there. For example, you put a book, and then you put a pen, and then you put a quill, and then you put like four different things inside one logo. A logo should be seen as an identifier, something that identifies the brand. So let's go into Pinterest quickly and look up a few ideas. So now what we did in the previous process is to just understand the different competitors and just see how they work around logos, just see different ideas and just fill our minds with the tone of voice, the personalities, the company unique value proposition. So what we've done in the previous process is try to give ourselves more understanding of the industry, the kind of logos that they use, the kind of brands, their tone of voice, how they position themselves, and all of that to just fill our arsenal with more ideas and more things to work with. And that's again what we're trying to do here. So we go into Pinterest. It's important to note that while in these videos, we're going quickly and just reviewing and trying to go over a lot of these things quickly. Research might take you a day, might take you 2 days, might take you even a week, depending on the brand you're working with. So you might have to do a deeper dive into what the brand does, understand how they might have even more than social media. They might have some assets printed, have some brochures, have some other things that you might want to study to just understand, how they work around their branding and how that can inform you in creating something that is good for your clients. So again, inspiration, looking for inspiration can take some time as well. You might dedicate a day to this where you're just looking at different ideas and trying to pin different things into different places. You just have an idea of what you can use. So for example, let's say we like what this looks like. We can copy this, right click to copy. And what we've been working with is a whiteboard in Canva. So to create a whiteboard, you simply go to your file, click on create new design, and you can search for whiteboard. Let me just open that to show you what it looks like. So if I click on a whiteboard, now the size is unlimited, so you can come in here, dump things, put pictures, put stickers, put text, just to have different things here. You can create your mood board here, create things, and you have a lot of space to work with. So it's not like your canvas where you have a specified size. It's just a whiteboard that you can place things into. So let's close this and go back to our previous board, and we can paste the image we copied. Can make it bigger or leave it at that size and just zoom in. So this is a logo type. They also have an icon. Let's go back to Pinterest. Let's go back and just look at a few more ideas. And all of this is happening before we go into sketching so that we have, ideas to work with and just sketch with. This is also a very nice logo going. So for a brand like Wright, where the brand name is not that long, it's very short, we can use a logo type. We just have WRYTE. We can use a logo type. So think about brands like Canva, where there's the C that they use for smaller design spaces, but then their logo is the name. Think about Adobe as well. That's another, I think, five-letter words as well. They use a logo type, and then they have the A as the logo mark. So we can do something similar with rights. Let's copy this as well. This is another use of logo type. Let's go to our whiteboard and paste that. So we have something else to look at. Now again, when you pick designs, so if you're working on a social media project, you can do the same thing. Come to a whiteboard, look at different ideas and bring them here. When you're doing that, you're not doing that to replicate what has been created. You're doing that to fill your mind with ideas so that when you create, you have an arsenal to work with. So let's go back to Pinterest and look at the field. This is Willow. This is also nice. They use a logo type. Let's copy this. And this is why I say this might take a little more time. For example, so we might see a logo and go find the brand if the brand exists and see how they use their logo. So go to their social media, go to their websites, go to whatever places they have as an outlets digitally, and see how they use that logo, right? So we'll just speed through that. Let's go back here and pick another idea. And I just saw spin. I think we'll take that as the final one before we move to the next phase. It's another use. This is a very simple logo type. Use a sans serif and extend this. Is a spin or speed? It should be a spin. Can't find any description. Let's go back. Cactus. Spark. So now, because we're going into logo type and looking at similar designs, most of what we'll see are logo types. So look at this one. This is a logo mark for Nowlib. This is Otter value. Value looks nice. Brela. But again, this is, for inspiration. Yango, Kim, you can see how they use logo type to sort of describe the brand and just create that identifier that is good, looks clean, looks neat, and can work within different contexts. So let's look at a little bit more and just fill our minds with more ideas. Look at labs, placebo. Okay. Talk is a quote mark. That's really nice. Condetta. Not sure what this brand. Okay. Starts. And you see all these different logos and different logo types, even icons. When we get to the sketching phase, you read yourself of the pressure of having to create something or nothing. So we're looking at a few more. This is another logo type. ORO should be Oro. Let's copy this, take this to our whiteboard. Take this to our whiteboard and add that here. Now, so we have something to look at to just give us an idea of the direction in which we're going with our logo design. So another thing that we would do is create a mood board. So just as the name implies, mood board. So it's a board where we go and find images, visual elements, essentially, mostly images in many cases, but we can add illustrations, we can add some icons, and just things that sort of project the mood of the brand. So when we see the images, it should give us the emotions that this brand should project on people when they come across them. So here on a blank page, let's go into our elements here. Again, we can go into Unsplash, we can go into Pixels to find our images. We can also even go into Pinterest to find images and bring them here. And let's type in our keywords of professionalism. Let's try fun and creative. And let's see what we find, fun and creative. Now, again, we're looking for images that give off the vibe that we want Right to give off. So let's go into photos and see what we can find. I'm searching for creativity, because now that's the edge that Right is bringing that a lot of their competitors do not have. So let's go in. This is off because we're trying to bring in fun, but not so much fun. We also need to maintain professionalism. So let's swipe through and find something that has to do with a workplace. This is a family, so that doesn't really apply. This is a family, that doesn't really apply. A lot of family, school, and these do not really apply. Just scroll a little bit further. Now, the images that you end up using in your mood boards don't have to be the only ones that you selected. So for example, I can see an image and just add it to my board and keep going. Keep going. I can find another image, add it to my board, keep going. Let's pull this out so that we don't have to browse through layers and layers later on. So let's try work and creativity. All right, let's streamline our search. Work and creativity. So now we're seeing more things. Now let's zoom into our board so that we can see things clearly. Okay, now does this give off the vibe that we're trying to? This is something similar that we can use. Let me take these off so that we have some space. These are way off. So let's try to find more images. Bring in images. So now professionalism is something that we're trying to pick up as well. Go into our search and search for work and fun. Okay, this is one image that sort of communicates that vibe of like right. So you can think of right and people working together, laughing together, developing ideas together, writing together, sort of. So we're looking for images that project that. So let's go in and search for a bit more. So it's that blend between we're professional and we know what we're doing, and oh, we have fun and we're creative as well. So how do we project that? So we'll speed this up. Let me do one more search before then and search for professionalism. Find images that maintain that blend. So fast forward this, I'll go find images and still using the same process, find images that I light the vibe that Wright is trying to bring, and we'll analyze those images together. So see you in a bit. So back now we have our images. Let's look at them and try to understand the vibe that we were looking for and see where that fits. So you can see here we have images of people working. So it showcases that we're professional, we know what we're doing. You can see some serious images here. You can see some serious images here of people working and just getting that writing in. And then we can also see some images of fun and just excitement. We can see some color here. So imagine they have pictures of their staff members. What would that look like? We have an image here. We have an icon here that shows some creativity. You can see the colors and see our blue here. We can see our yellow here and that little gray that we have. We can see also some playful images here. And overall, we have something that projects the mood of right, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to see via images. So when you come in here and look at these images, the vibe that you get, the emotions that they induce should be similar to what you're thinking of and getting from right. So we've done some research, we've looked at some ideas, we've brought in some images into our whiteboard, we've created a mood board and just looked at different ideas and tried to create that vibe and feel of right. In the next video, we'll be doing some sketching and just trying to work through some ideas, both the good ones and the not so good ones, and streamlining that into something that we can create into the brand identity for right. So see you there.